For a film that takes on the genre of Die Hard in a insert word here, Olympus Has Fallen is quite mediocre. For clarification, the Die Hard in a insert word here genre started in 1988 with the release of the first Die Hard film. The idea of action films in secluded areas proved such an inspiration that several others were remade. So you got Die Hard on a plane, as in your Air Force One and Con Air, on a train, a ship, as in Under Siege, and many more. So Olympus Has Fallen, along with White House Down from the same year, were the first to attempt Die Hard in the White House. And Olympus Has Fallen falls flat in its attempts. Why, I hear you ask? Well, the acting's good, but there's far too much action even for my liking. So much death, so much gore, so much areas that... In short, it jumps the shark many moments in the film. One moment in particular stands out, the plane at the beginning. A plane that has guns coming out from its sides to shoot out at Washington, people and monuments. Firstly, in real life, that is not going to happen. The plane would not get through US airspace like that, and with guns on its sides. I mean, that's the bottom line. They will not get through. But I digress. The plot of the film is that Gerard Butler plays Mike Banning, who's on the presidential detail for protecting the president. Near the time of Christmas, the president's wife dies in a car accident, and Banning is forced to pull the president away, or else he'll die too. Several months later, Banning has been demoted to a desk job because even though the president doesn't blame him, the sight of him triggers the memories of the night his wife died. At the same time, the president is heading for a meeting with the Prime Minister of South Korea, but just as it starts to take effect, the plane that I mentioned comes in, attacks Washington before crash landing and just trying to destroy the Washington Monument, before North Korean guerrillas storm in, take the president, his detail and the South Koreans hostage, as well as Koreans on the outside managing to lay waste to the White House, getting through the gates, destroying it as much as they can. In all this, Banning manages to slip into the White House, and from there he must not only find the president's son and save him, but must save the president and as many people as possible from a lone Korean intent on revenge against America, and a reunited Korea as well. Now, most films that have the Die Hard in a insert word here genre have something that works. Connor has its fast pace and editing. Air Force One has its unrelenting action that does have a limit, I have to say. The action is fast coming and non-stop, but there is a limit to it. It doesn't feature it in every second, but with Olympus Has Fallen, it's like featured in almost everything. I think this film tops the death count of Air Force One and the Terminator, possibly even combined, because there's so much death, especially in the beginning. And like I say, there's a lot of action that's too much even for me. It just comes non-stop, bit after bit, very, very fast. As I say, non-stop. Air Force One had its limits, but Olympus Has Fallen just goes a step too far, and to me that's a bit over the top. You're right. I am describing an action film, and action is one of my favourite genres, as over the top. Because that's what Olympus Has Fallen is. But in all this, the direction and the acting do work. The director manages to keep things coming, that I enjoy. There's plot twists you wouldn't expect. But as I say, his idea of so much action and so fast paced does let him down on that side. So overall, the acting is the only real general part of the film that works. Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart, I think it's pronounced, both of those are fabulously acted. I mean, Banning does a superb job of once being the president's one of the closest friendships with the president, which is broken following the death of the president's wife. but then brought back together with Banning proving that he's not a failure. He can redeem himself in the President's eye. But yeah. So yeah, that's overall really. Olympus Has Fallen is quite mediocre by my standards. The acting being the only good part. Too much action for my liking. A death count that tops even the Terminator. That's about it really. And if I'm being honest, I wasn't too sure on this film at first. Of course it was requested as part of my request month as I celebrate my 1 year on being a film critic. But to be honest, let me try and think what I'm going to say. I think that I would much rather prefer White House Down when I come seeing it. I know, like I said, I haven't seen it yet, but it's just a gut feeling that I'll enjoy a lot more because it's got Roland Emmerich, and I enjoy Roland Emmerich. He's done some fab films, a bit over the top, but from what I've heard, Olympus Has Fallen is behind White House Down in both reactions from critics and viewers, and box office taken. So I'm going to wait to see White House Down to determine if Olympus Has Fallen really is more than mediocre, because that's what I feel at the minute. Anyhow, I digress. So, 2 weeks left of my Netflix recommendation months, and my decision has been made on what they are. But I'm not going to spoil a single word. You'll just have to find out next time. And the time after that.